Hey, Paul.
Will you do us a solid?
You have like a bag of taffy over there? What's going on?
Nordo, what's going on with this giant bag of taffy that I have in here?
Well, Howard from Chicago, one of our good friends, long-term friends.
Long-time devoted listener.
Prolific listener. Yes. He's always listening. He brought gifts for myself and for PA. And PA's a big taffy guy. And so that's a giant bag of taffy.
Are you a big taffy guy?
I like saltwater taffy. Do you and MD like saltwater taffy? Because you can have half that bag.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it called saltwater taffy? Is it made through saltwater?
Jeez, that's a great question. That's a question
it's sweet, so you don't taste the salt.
Well, can you do us a solid? And then I'm going to figure that out.
I'm going to figure. I was trying to figure out what Dragoneer Investment Group is, so I got a handle on that. We'll find out. Let's go. Let's dig down the saltwater taffy route.
You have your phone in front of you?
I do.
You do us a solid and read that Shams Charania tweet that you showed me before the pause.
Yeah, about 8 minutes ago.
No saltwater.
Shams Charania of ESPN, American business leader Mark Stad has completed a deal to become the controlling owner and largest shareholder of the NBA's Minnesota Timberwolves and WNBA's Minnesota Lynx by buying the majority of co-owner Mark Lowry's stake at a $4.5 billion valuation.
Wow. Well, that's a major move. So I've got A-Rod's still in the mix, right?
Yeah.
I would assume. I've got two quick questions. Hold on. John Krasinski's got something. Yeah, Mark Lowry is selling the controlling interest in the Timberwolves. Lowry will remain as a limited partner. Stad and Alex Rodriguez are the new tandem leading the way in Minnesota. So two questions that I have is, who is Mark Stad?
Yep.
And the second question would be, so how much Mark Lowry bought it in for how much? And then if he just sold at a $4.5 billion valuation, that's like a 2-year flip for how much?
Yeah,
it's like he shorted a stock.
He made a ton of money. Well,
he
just made a ton of money.
Mark Lowry with the ultimate, potentially doubling of billions.
Yeah. Well, nice of him to care about the team.
I always loved that one.
Maybe he was so offended by the LaMelo Ball deal, he just cashed out.
I always loved that one.
Yeah, I'm not making any jokes.
With the Lakers bids and everything, I mean, you're seeing these massive, what was it? The buses sell for what? $10 billion 2-3 years ago to some, was it Walter something?
Mark Walter.
Yeah. And then he just flipped it for what? At a $12 billion valuation in less than 2 or 3 years?
Is this real money?
So maybe Lowry's like, I'm going to still get to go to the games, but I got to get in on this boom. Yeah, I don't know. Is it real money? Mark Stad deals. He's a tech company investor, a growth equity firm, Dragoneer. And notable deals include Airbnb, some AI companies like Anthropic, DoorDash, Etsy, all sorts of.
Sounds like you're naming every tech company that's ever been invented.
Well, but is he
part of The Athletic? I probably should stop talking.
I suppose when these companies want to scale, right?
The Athletic football show, by the way, I saw something on social media yesterday about like numbers or rankings of the Athletic football show. Hey, number one with a bullet.
Yeah, Mark Stad should be investing in that. How about
Dollar Shave Club? Dollar Shave Club on the list. So when you need money, when you want it, you got a great business idea in the tech space, you go to Mark Stad, you go to Dragoneer, and you're now going to find him at Target Center.
Does it have his email there? The Alec Lewis Show.
You tried to scale?
All right, Timberwolves.
We're coming.
Saltwater taffy does not actually contain ocean water.
No, it does not.
According to popular legend in Atlantic City, a coastal candy store flooded in 1883 when an ocean storm washed over the boardwalk. The owner jokingly told a young customer he only had, quote, saltwater taffy, end quote.
I always loved that one.
That's pretty impressive.
And
that
the catchy name stuck.
For 150 years, just because of that happening in Atlantic City. The more you know.
Boiled sugar, corn syrup.
Boiled sugar, that sounds as good as boxed wine.
Butter and artificial flavorings make up the saltwater taffy.
It doesn't sound healthy, but I've had some taffy in my day.
You're leaving with half this bag for UNMD.
No, absolutely not. This is the time of the year where I'm trying to stay in shape. I'm writing about Dallas Turner.
Stay in shape? You mean get in shape, according to that tweet we saw last week.
Alec, you look well nourished. The guy said, or girl said, Alec, you look well nourished. That was
funny.
Yeah, that was really funny to see.
All right.
And the Peloton was hit right after.
Yeah, so I put this numbers game together between races last night. Anytime we're multitasking that way, the chances of L's increase, and I took two. Well, I took one. I think I took one with my 53. I got done with it, and you're like, wow, that's well done. But I left Taveir Thomas.
Nordo said that. He was sharp on that.
I left Taveir Thomas out. He's number one gunner with Felton, and he led him in special teams tackles last year. And I got really positive steam into the Giants game from like the right people with Taki Taimani. And I didn't have him in there. I had 10 offensive linemen, including Huber. And I only
you got Huber and Bird?
Yeah, Bird. Yeah, I had Bird where I wasn't necessarily sure if I was going to have Bird. I think that's your starting left tackle tomorrow. But not that means he's owed a spot on the roster. I only had 3 tight ends. I just can't like the Teasley Lang tie from the Seahawks practice squad resonates with me. Made a nice catch in the Giants game, has looked pretty good in training camp, and he's big. And like Bartholomew, okay, the previous group drafted him, had the back, the blocking and the pass protection. I just haven't heard anything great or bad about it. It's not noteworthy. One target in the Giants game, didn't play as much as I thought he would play, and Jurasik's out there on all the special teams bits more than him. So I just don't know what to do with 86. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, it's two very different players. I mean, Ben Jurasik is more of your inline tight end. If you need him in a pinch to help maintain your run phase, like I think he can do that. Whereas Gavin Bartholomew is a little more of your twitchy downfield catcher type. I think it's a possibility that you could potentially get either one of those guys back after waivers. So I feel like
for the practice squad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put the 53 together.
Right. But I'm saying if you take 3 and cut one of them, it's possible you could maintain them in the building and elevate them if need be. So I think 3 there makes sense to be able to maneuver things everywhere else.
And Jennings is a wide receiver that plays like a tight end. You know what I'm saying?
He can, yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna handcuff him to a tackle. I don't mean that.
Yeah. Now I will say this: the film from last year did not show the ruggedness from a run blocking standpoint that I believe the Vikings are going to need from him. So hopefully, he can provide that. And he is not the type of guy who tends to stop after practice and be loquacious with the media. So looking forward to just watching him stick his face in the fan as a blocker.
So go ahead. So you had 3 QB, 5 running.
You got 3 QBs, right?
Who's your backup?
McCarthy. O'Connell is pushing that McCarthy's the backup. He played before Wentz in the Giants game. And he got, 90% more snaps than Wentz in the last 2 days we watched.
He did. So let me ask you this question. Week 6 happens. The Vikings are 4-2. Kyler Murray suffers an injury. It happens. It's unfortunate. He's creating out of the pocket. Who do you feel more confident in needing to win the game? Game 7, game 8, Carson Wentz or J.J. McCarthy?
At this stage of the equation, Carson Wentz. Yeah. But
So
we just went through an entire offseason of you and I arguing about Carson Wentz because of the things I would see out there.
You're right.
And I'm telling you, through the first, because old people have expiration dates, then you got to stop and they need rest, and then you come back on them.
So this is where it just, for me, like I'm having a hard time squaring the Kevin O'Connell comments from this week, which to his credit, was just a reiteration of what he had said the week prior, and that J.J. McCarthy is working with the twos. And I'm having a hard time squaring that with what is, it just feels pretty clear that if you needed somebody in a pinch that you trust in the short term, Carson Wentz would provide you a level of trust at a deeper level. So I will just say this, PA, like I am looking forward to watching tomorrow and how it plays out. And then leading up to the season, how does it shake out? Because my other question is how okay is Carson Wentz at this stage of his career going to be in being a number 3?
Why you got to create drama?
I'm not trying to create drama. I'm just trying to look at it like objectively. And objectively, I think the way you I pose those questions to you because I think any rational person, that's how they would answer those questions.
Wentz came into the Giants game, and it was organized. And it just, he's a veteran. He just knows simply by process of doing it more and knowing where the cliched bones are buried and how to get in and out of things more quickly because he's seen more. They scored their only touchdown with him in the game.
It's really kind of a hard needle to thread because I do think, and I listened to an interview that Jared Goff did with the Athletics' Robert Mays. And
how is Dave Burkett?
And Jared was just talking about the growth at the quarterback position over the course of his career. And it really, I don't know if it was a reminder, but it hit home for me that to think that any of these players, and really specifically J.J. McCarthy, is a finished product at any point in his journey, I think is a foolish way to look at it if you're just being honest about it. But then this is a team right now, and you guys both know this, and so do the listeners driving around or listening wherever they're listening. This is a team committed to winning right now. Justin Jefferson has not won a playoff game. Yep. The team hasn't won a playoff game since 2019. Kevin O'Connell's in his 5th year now and hasn't won a playoff game. So they need to win right now and ensure that they are positioned to do that at every level of the roster. And
Wentz is the more stable option.
It is. So
Wentz is a guy that can roll in cold, and just because he knows the operation, can maintain stability in those moments.
And so it's not, I don't view it as creating drama. I just view it as I
know what you mean.
The likelihood of a Kyler Murray injury is at some point, the probability would tell you it could happen. And so you might need one of these players. So it's critical we talk about what the best path is at that position, not to hijack the segment with quarterback stuff. But
no, we're good, man, because we think about this kind of stuff this time of the year. I'm frustrated, seriously, that I went through those numbers and I left the leading special teams tackler from last year.
I wouldn't beat yourself up.
But I mean, we like to get as close as we possibly can. And I forgot with Taki Taimani, the good things that I heard. So
I think it's difficult too. We were talking in the break, the running back position.
Yeah.
I mean, you were out there, you guys both. Damon Claiborne, this guy moves it is just absolutely ridiculous the way he moves. So he was drafted for a reason. He will be on the roster. The question is, Xavier Scott, do you value his special teams above and beyond? These are hard questions that internally they're going to have to, push and pull just as much as we would on the radio.
We're so in the weeds with this right now.
As we should be.
Well, because with Tavai Thomas, where's number 37 for those of you who just haven't cared about it because he doesn't play defense ever, with the exception of preseason, but he's turned into a really good gunner. What's that? Those are the guys on the outside on the punt team. Just think Marcus Sherrills, one of the, along with Jake Reed and maybe Joey Browner and some others, one of the great gunners in the history of this team. I'm not saying Tavai Thomas is that, but he and Felton have owned that job, those jobs the entire offseason. Jay Ward is developing into quite the good gunner. He backs them up. So, I mean, if 37's out because 36 is in and you can put 24 over there, then how much does that impact 24 with Brian Flores' defense when there's some Swiss Army knife with the cornerback, the slot corner? And with respect, I mean, the safety situation here is still a work in progress.
Yes, it is. Theo Jackson left practice a little early yesterday with a leg, it looked like a leg injury. He walked off and he wasn't carted off, so it didn't look crazy serious. But
we shouldn't have let. See, Nordo convinced me to leave early yesterday.
I listened to that, but I understand. If you saw Dallas Turner, you would have had to leave.
Yeah, he almost sent Ronnie Stanley into retirement.
I always love that.
I was like, what am I watching out here? And you can imagine me. I mean, it was absurd, but.
The stimulation was down yesterday. Fewer people on the sideline. It was easier to focus.
No question. But
more grayscale yesterday, though, with the clouds and everything.
That's a good point. But no, I do think the safety spot. I mean, you're talking right now. Jacoby Thomas, the third-round pick from Miami, has not practiced a lot in the last few weeks, and this is a critical period for a young player to showcase that he can do all of the requirements for a safety in Brian Flores' system. If you're not establishing that trust now, then doing that on the fly in the season is going to be pretty tough.
I think he's a long shot to be active against Green Bay because of missing all this time.
Now, we'll see. Fortunately, the undrafted player Jacob Thomas from James Madison has just absolutely blown them away internally.
Yeah, you sniffed him out weeks ago.
Well, the guy, you could tell. You could just tell early on that there was something about this guy. And I remember
that's a Cignetti recruit. He's got a little something extra.
He was a Cignetti recruit. For some reason, Cignetti, and I'm on this, this will be my task this afternoon. Why did he not bring him to Indiana?
I can't wait to read that 5,000 word piece on that.
He was a high school quarterback in Virginia. And then goes and walks on at James Madison.
Jeez.
Then
that's dope intel for the simulcast.
Bob Chesney, who's now the head coach at UCLA, very respected in college football, puts him on scholarship at James Madison. James Madison was in the college football playoff last year. So, Jacob Thomas manned the defense for this college football playoff team in James Madison. And, he's blown them away internally. But you guys both know this, too. Asking an undrafted rookie safety to be at the controls of Brian Flores' defense against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, well, that's why you have Metellus.
Right.
I mean, Metellus.
But here's the thing, PA. If you have Metellus deep because you need him at the controls.
No, I'm talking about, when you say controls, I'm thinking, see, with no Harrison Smith back there.
Yeah.
My first and foremost thought is the back-end communication. So Cashman's what's known as the green dot. He calls the defense, but there's a communicative nature required from a safety to get the DBs in lockstep with Cashman, and Smith was second to none. So I'm when you say control, that's what I think.
Yes, and you would definitely, or I know that the next man up at the controls would be Josh Metellus. The complication with that is if he's having to play deep, Josh Metellus' best skill, his best position is near the line of scrimmage, slot defender. So if you're having to pull him from his primary best spot, then you're probably having to replace him with a guy like Jay Ward. That's taxing just the depth, and that's why
But he could be if Scott's in, if 36 is in and 37's out, or 94's in and somebody's out, and Ward goes to gunner. First gunner, I'm not sure I have a problem with that. With assumedly Felton he's absolutely in the mix because he's pretty good at special teams.
Yeah. Ty Felton, I would absolutely expect to be one of the starting gunners. And then preferably, I do think it's Tavier Thomas. Then you're probably having to pull whether it's an offensive lineman or whether it's Xavier Scott. You're probably having to make a pretty difficult cut at that point.
But that gets us to 26. Talking through this, that's why I wanted to kind of run through it again. If Xavier Scott is in, how are you not at 26? Whether it's 10 O-line and 3 tight end or 9 O-line and 4 tight end in that spot. So Xavier, that's like a massive pivot point for the entire numbers game in totality if you go with 5 total backs with Bredesen.
Okay, numbers to the side for a minute, because I don't want to forget this because it was significant.
We don't play the PlayStation like us.
Let's not understate or let slip by just how cool it must have been to have Randy Moss and the wide receivers meeting or meetings during these joints. Nordo played some Miles Price audio earlier that was absolute. It was touching. It was authentic. It just, beloved Jug. That's just amazing. Don't you think that Randy Moss did that?
I mean, you always say Captain Cool to him or something. That's a line you use a lot.
Captain Cool Covenant.
But just Keenan McCardell, you know how cool of a guy he is, and the imagining those two in the room with Justin and his personality and Jordan Addison and his, uniqueness, I would say.
Yeah, he's quiet.
Yeah, to be the cameras. Hopefully, were in that room and have captured that for years from now when Justin Jefferson's being enshrined or.
Did you hear that Miles Price audio?
Yeah.
For those who missed it, I want to hear it again because.
Give me 5 seconds.
It just was so real when he was talking about Moss being next to him, teaching him Twitch, and then he slides in taking food off my plate. Listen.
Oh, gosh.
he was sitting right next to me. He was giving me like tips. I couldn't believe it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he sitting casually, I'm eating my food, and he tapped me like, yeah, right here, you could have gave him this instead of that. I'm like, you're right. I should have did that. Like, and then we get out on the field before practice, and he come out here and show me a little vet move that I can apply to my game. Like, I think that's just so cool, and it's like one of the greatest feelings knowing I have like a guy like Randy Moss out here showing me the ways, you know?
The other thing,
Super Bowl homeboy.
The other thing, I told you this yesterday on the practice field before you left because you were too overconfident.
We were battling overconfidence.
Yeah.
And Gessling got new binoculars. He was excited. I looked through them. I couldn't find the first loss. And I'm like, I just got to get out of here. This is just blowing me away.
Yeah, I told you this. Like, you know, you cover sport. I've covered sports not forever, but I've done it now, 7-10 years.
And how is Lorenzo Cain?
And like, but there are very few people I've ever walked near in doing this job where they have a level of, I don't know what the word is, magnetism or like this guy.
Magnetism.
He's like hovering above the others in Randy Moss. So I will tell you guys a funny story with it. So he was in the receiver room, right? So I'm thinking like athletic, you know, it would be fascinating to hear what he would say about that. So I walk up to Bob Hagan, longtime PR extraordinaire for the Vikings.
Poor man's Harvey Green.
And I go, Bob.
Time for two more?
I go, Bob, there's not any way that Randy would be willing to, you know, talk about what it was like. Bob gives me the finger wag like Dikembe Mutombo.
Super Bowl homeboy.
And he's like, I appreciate how young enough you are to even think that would be remotely possible.
At least he was honest.
I was like, I might as well try.
Right.
Like, and it was an opportunity to talk to Randy. But I couldn't have been rejected quicker.
All right, let's land the plane for this segment.
Ranking up.
So Moss was here both days. And you know, after watching Jefferson versus our guys, and then Jefferson versus Nate Wiggins, at times Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, and some of the deep roster guys like that Kone or whatever, the 31 that he broke his ankles twice on the first joints. It was unbelievable. I think Jefferson never has been stronger. That's a fact. And his intermediate route running is as good as I've ever seen. Do you sense he's reinvigorated?
Definitely. I do think he's just excited about the opportunity for 2026. And I would say, like, you've been around, you guys know, this guy wants to be, his goal is Hall of Fame best receiver of all time. And so when you come off a year like he's coming off, there's going to certainly, and you don't, you know, you're not Madden 99, you're not heralded among the Jamar Chases or whatever in the eyes of national media or whatever. Like, there's definitely just an undercurrent of motivation for him. But I will say this, too. Like, I didn't think the passing game was in sync a ton throughout the first 2 days.
Right.
I thought Marlon Humphrey gave Justin a lot of really impressive physical
Marlon's
reps.
good, man.
I did not expect, I mean, I know he's an Hoover, Alabama guy, so
Roquan Smith, another Crimson Tide. Forgot how good he was.
He went to Georgia, but definitely
Georgia,
close.
my bad.
Definitely, there's no question there. Those two guys.
But when they put Roquan Smith, Trey Hendrickson, and Kyle Hamilton on the same side, hide the women and children. I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's just imposing to look at.
And Jesse Minter, I probably came on last year and was annoying you guys talking about how good I think he is as a defensive coach. So really savvy move by Kevin O'Connell to practice against Jesse Minter. Really non-savvy move for Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle to decide to practice against Brian Flores in his defense.
Right, that's what I understand. All right, that's Alec Lewis, The Athletic, and theathletic.com, at Alec_Lewis via X. We also have the Alec Lewis Show podcast. And to learn more about that via Alec's Twitter feed, we'll be back after this.
You're listening live to Paul Allen at 9 to noon on iHeartRadio and FM 100.
Dallas Turner was the official, unofficial two-day MVP of the 9 to noon duo at the joint practices. And here's how Alec Lewis wrote about it at The Athletic, involving, it's a kind of a day 2/2-day recap, but started with Dallas Turner. Quote, "At one point, flames felt possible. It was Thursday afternoon at the TCO Performance Center, and here came Minnesota Vikings edge rusher Dallas Turner once again. The 2024 first-round pick blasted around the edge with so much speed that he looked powered by octane. For the second straight day in joint practices against the Baltimore Ravens, Turner turn-styled Pro Bowl tackle Ronnie Stanley. His lengthy arms caused problems. His relentlessness made second efforts effective. His output generated so much noise on one of the practice fields that every now and then, coaches and players peered over to see what caused the commotion. Turner's teammates gushed about him. Second-year defensive lineman Elijah Williams described Turner as an intimidating presence on the field. Another second-year defensive lineman, Ty Ingram Dawkins, speculated about an award-worthy type of season. Quote, "Man," veteran Vikings cornerback Byron Murphy Jr. said, "Yes, sir. To see how big of a jump it's been and how fast he's playing, it's going to be a special year." High praise all around for old number 15, right?
Yeah, it was, to see Dallas Turner have the days he had was one thing. But then when you you know this, PA, when you talk to the teammates like off the mic or whatever, and you sense the level of praise that I sensed, I would just say yesterday it was definitely notable. Like I've had buddies here locally who are like, there's hype every year for Dallas Turner, but I can just tell you that there is a discipline and like an understanding of the opportunity with him right now.
Your friends.
That is notable.
Your friends. So, what hype has there been about Dallas Turner every year? Like into his rookie year, if you have a high degree of hype for a rookie, you're going to have your heart broken more than it's going to fall in love. Second year, you still had Grenard and Van Ginkel. So I'm like, how much can you possibly have under those circumstances?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I also think some of the hype.
You traded up to get him, though. I think that plays into that hype, too. And then he only plays 300 snaps. I think that the hype combined with the first-year return, I think that kind of built it up a little bit.
Maybe into last year.
I do think some of the hype last year was validated by what he did over the last 8 games of the season.
When Grenard got hurt.
Yes, and he was in the edge. See, the thing that it's hard to explain is the Vikings really have 2 different edge rusher positions. There's like the Andrew Van Ginkel coverage adjacent position, and then on the other side, it's just more your traditional pass rush and go position. And Dallas Turner, for a while, was receiving snaps in the Andrew Van Ginkel type position. Once Jonathan Grenard didn't play, he was in the spot that fits best for him. And so
which one of those spots does Hassan Reddick play?
I always love that.
Is he the right? Anyway, go ahead.
I would just say, and you can see, if you stand out there and watch individual drills, the level of intensity that Dallas Turner carries himself with is the type of intensity that I think I expected talking to people from Alabama when they drafted him. So we'll see what he accomplishes during the season. He's going to be critical for this defense to do what they want to do. But I would also say, by extension to the Dallas Turner conversation, PA, the defensive players had a blast out there the last 2 days. They were having so much fun. They brought so much juice. They made it so hard on Lamar Jackson. And I think that's a testament to a lot of people on that side.
Well, let me ask you gentlemen this. Okay, player potentially of camp, Dallas Turner. 200-1 to be the defensive player of the year in 2026. If you found yourself down at Diamond Joe in Iowa and you're throwing a little dice, and you know that the snaps and the opportunity are going to be there, Flores wants, and in some ways this defense needs number 15 to have his best year of his career and continue to ascend, 200 to 1.
Yeah, it's worth a $10 spotty for $2,000.
200 to 1.
Yeah, Banks. I mean, I was saying the same thing about Banks at 65 to 1. Feels like that's 125 to 1 now. With the and Banks and Citrus, I mean, fully expected to play this weekend, right?
Yeah, and they look. I would say I don't get the film, so I can't assess their technique, but it did look like Caleb Banks' pad level was lower these last 2 days, and that he was pretty motivated. And I feel like I've seen some interviews with him and even talked to him after the game Saturday. Like, there's an awareness, self-awareness for him that, he knows how far he has to go. I think that's positive at this point. But the other guy I'll just say, and then I'll let you
we're good.
I'll stop rambling.
We're good.
Blake Cashman and what he's done during this training camp will not be talked about for some reason. But I tweeted this earlier this morning. Like, the guy is everywhere. He's unbelievable as a blitzer. He's effective in coverage, and his health cannot go overstated in terms of how important that's going to be this year.
What kind of season do you put Jordan Addison on?
Yeah, I'm potentially a big one. His rapport with Kyler Murray looks. I would say T.J. Hawkinson's feels like it's really come on over the last week and a half of camp, but Jordan Addison and Kyler worked out a ton this offseason in Dallas. And it feels like they have a really good rapport. It's a potentially contract year for Jordan Addison. So, I could see this being a massive year for him.
Who has more touchdowns and why? T.J. Hawkinson or Josh Oliver?
Yeah, T.J. Hawkinson. I would just say.
You think it's a cinch?
No.
I mean, Oliver had 4 last year.
No, it's not a cinch. And when you get down low there, if they want to try to enforce their will in the run game, then Josh Oliver's probably going to be on the field in some capacity.
With Jennings, and Jennings is good in the red zone.
Yes, but I would just say the last 7 to 10 days has probably been the most effective T.J. Hawkinson days that I can remember in some time.
In what way?
Catching a lot of contested passes, looking shifty in short area as a route runner. So we'll see. Like, I want to see it come the season, but it's been noticeable how frequently Kyler's targeted him in the red zone and how often T.J. Hawkinson has come up with those passes.
Does tomorrow feel like McCarthy starting into Wentz, then heavy on Brosmer in the second half?
Maybe.
Does it feel like that?
Maybe. The one thing I will say is Max Brosmer is still working through that thumb.
Okay.
With where he's at in his career, I would expect him to give it a go regardless, because he just needs to display anything for opportunity's sake. And then Carson Wentz, I don't necessarily know if you want to jeopardize the potential of, collisions or what have you. So I'll be curious to see how it plays out. I don't have any intel on what this distinct plan is, so I'm not going to, speculate and act like I know. I really don't know what they're planning.
What about Jacob Roberts? What about Roberts on the 53?
It's interesting because I watched back the tape of that Saturday game, and I was like, man, not only did he make that interception off Brandon Allen, but he was filling gaps effectively, processing the field quickly.
He really hits when he hits.
Yeah. And then special teams, you could imagine he would have a role. So I don't know. He could be a guy who you try to get to the practice squad and another team who has a savvy personnel department plucks him. So that's an interesting name that I definitely came away with my eyes on. Just like after Saturday's film, Elijah Williams again.
Yeah.
The undrafted free agent from last year, defensive tackle. He had a really, really good film from that Saturday game.
Who has the best offense in the division and why?
Detroit.
Think so? With that O-line?
We'll see with the O-line, but I think
they lost Pacheco for a little bit, I think.
I just think the floor is so high when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams still developing.
Laporta with a back and a hip.
We'll see.
That might be serious.
Jahmyr Gibbs, explosiveness.
Yep.
And then Drew Petzing, it sounds like when they hired him as the OC, Jared Goff and him spent a ton of time on Zoom to get Drew up to speed with the offense they've run. And then Jared Goff, is he ever going to be in the top 7 tier? Probably not. Yep. But he is so accurate.
He's reliable,
and he processes the field, I would probably go there. But I think Ben Johnson is unbelievable. So
see, maybe I'm just getting flummoxed by all of this Matthew Golden stuff I see, hear, and read. But I'm like, I mean, for Jordan Love and all the jokes that throwing off the back foot and stuff like that, he can get up and down the field against most defenses. If the Golden Steam is real, I'm a Jaden Reed fan. I think he's fantastic.
I agree.
Christian
just can't stay healthy.
Christian Watson is outstanding if he's healthy.
Agree.
But he's really gotten good. And then you got Jacobs. Tucker Kraft is arguably best in show for me.
Yeah.
I mean, so that thing right there, holy cow.
Yeah, it just feels like, and I that's a fair, it's hard. Like I said this to you guys last week. How would you power rank the quarterbacks in the division? It's a really hard one. I didn't realize this last night. I looked at 2024 with the Arizona Cardinals when Kyler Murray started. That Arizona Cardinals offense was like top 7 in success rate.
Wow.
EPA per play.
What year?
All of 2024.
Wow.
And
so they're like DeAndre Hopkins?
I'm not.
Michael Wilson?
No, I'm not even sure if they had. No, I think Trey McBride had a great year, but like, there's a world where all 4 offenses in the division are top 10 offenses. Which would be, I mean, I think just validating what this division could be. But I was looking that up last night and I was like, holy cow, I didn't realize the Cardinals offense was that efficient in 2024.
Lastly, who with a right to change the opinion, who wins the punter tussle and why?
Johnny Hecker, just because of his experience and veteran nature, not because of his throwing arm, which I know you are intrigued by. Do you realize how much Johnny Hecker looks like Carson Wentz?
Yeah. Hecker had 7 touchbacks last year. That was a career high. Just something to think about.
Yeah. And Brett Thorson was the Ray Guy Award winner, but you just can't mess with the holding potential with Will Reichard. So yeah, I
didn't know that Thorson had never held in a game prior to that Giants game, and Matt Daniels told us that earlier this week.
I didn't know that, but yeah, no, I would say Hecker. It's just reliable, but yeah, you didn't mention my Max Bredesen story from this week.
What did I miss?
His mom, Max Bredesen's mom, was a dog trainer traveling, won the national championship for their dog in 2003.
Well, she raised dogs with this tight end and that offensive lineman in Tampa Bay.
That's what I'm saying.
Gee.
This family is unbelievable. But Max Bredesen's going to have a huge role this year, and
there's got to be more to the story than that.
Well, there is. It's really about why he's trusted already by the Vikings staff to do a lot of things offensively, and I say that very general so that I don't get a text from somebody in the offensive side.
I mean, we've joked around in overstimulation mode where they're not showing the choice plays that will involve Bredesen flying behind the line like Juszczyk right before the snap.
Don't tip the
takes
offense.
Off, crushes a guy. Jennings is crushing a guy. And they're running that way, and all of a sudden there's a massive hole. And we're
going to have to call them the Purple Crush.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'll see you at the game tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Alec Lewis at Alec_Lewis via X, and we are back in a flash.
This is 9 to noon, live on iHeartRadio and KFAN, The Fan.
Download the free iHeartRadio app, search the Late Round Fantasy.
By V Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Feeling the felt, poker, blackjack, and table games all year round. Live racing is in season. And get to CanterburyPark.com for all details there. You got cool shows. Feels like almost every freaking night down there. It's a party in Shakopee.
Here come the Mummies a week from today.
There you go. CanterburyPark.com is the place to start for all of that. And TheAthletic.com is the place to go if you're sniffing around for information on some news today, Timberwolves related. Johnny Athletic, John Krasinski of The Athletic. And I texted Guardsy already to see, will there be some emergency Johnny K in the mix as the news has come out that Mark Lowry, owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves, he's selling his controlling interest in the Howl and in the Lynx to limited partner and Dragoneer Investment Group founder Mark Stad at a $4.5 billion valuation per sources of The Athletic. So it's he notes it's the NBA's second abrupt ownership shift
in
little more than a week. He does report, John Krasinski does, that Lori will remain a part of the ownership group in a limited role, but he's stepping away because he has a food delivery business called Wonder that I believe is pushing towards an IPO. And so he's focused on the business side. A-Rod is potentially increasing his equity in the company, in the organization, but is going to remain in his current role, potentially being the more public-facing member of ownership moving forward. And elsewhere, let me see, Mark Stad himself is going to be focused on his company, Dragoneer, but his wife, Elisa, will now serve as the head of the ownership table, the designated governor for the Wolves, so that, again, Mark Stad can be fully engaged at his company. So just significant change, is it? Mark Stad, not new to the ownership pie for the Howl, but now taking over controlling interest. What does it mean? Future focused, all of this. Sounds like A-Rod. Johnny K noted that he owns a house here. So it sounds like kind of A-Rod's going to be, when you're thinking, hey, let's hear from the owner of the Wolves, you're going to be hearing from Alex Rodriguez. So, but some big ownership shaking news in the NBA is right here in Minneapolis with the Timberwolves and Mark Stad.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There was some significant profitability involved during the sale, and don't know, like many, much about the controlling owner now. Curious to see where this goes from here.
To the Minnesota Twins, curious where this goes from here. They had the day off yesterday after sweeping the Braves. They're in San Diego, and it's Connor Prelip on the mound for the Twins tonight against Randy Vasquez. The Minnesota Twins, despite being off last night, they lost no momentum in terms of still 3.5 back in the division and still currently the third wild card team in the American League. Now, you know, some things that are, it's just crazy. How middling do you call it? How competitive you call it? I mean, the Twins are a playoff team. They're 2 games under 500, so we get that. The Tigers, how close this thing is. They're a game and a half out. They're 5 games under 500, but they have a plus 82 run differential. I don't even know how that works. Orioles kind of on an L streak, 4 in a row. They're still just 2 games back. This is a meat grinder bottleneck of nightmarish proportions for about 6 or 7 teams in the American League, but the Minnesota Twins needing that sweep. Otherwise, again, you know, they're down. They got to hop, skip, and jump 6 teams. So that sweep against the Braves was massive, as you pointed out yesterday morning, PA. But now they got to keep that momentum going, and they find themselves on the road against the Padres, I believe, then the Athletics, and then next week they come home to face the Chicago White Sox for a fun division collision into the weekend.
The White Sox have stopped hitting at a very tedious time of the year, a very important time of the year. They got shut out at home yesterday against Atlanta, and they have guys who can hit, but hopefully they stay punchless into the night by the time they get here next week. Now, this would be FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act, and I'm speaking for Nordo too. It's in following baseball, you know, which I follow rather closely, but not super closely. I wish I knew between the White Sox, the Tigers, the Twins, the Orioles, all the teams you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like which teams have the best bullpens and why? I mean, I got no shot.
I don't have the answer to that.
And even locally, I mean, with respect, you know, you can be good at a lot of things or great at something, or just a few things. And I know some of the names. I just don't know how reliable they are. And the reason I bring it up is because all of those teams have 5-and-fly pitchers. So, you know, we're not there. There's no Jacob deGrom, Chris Sale, Blake Snell. Garrett Cole's gotten himself good. There's none of that here. JoJo's hurt, right? Joe Ryan's hurt.
Joe Ryan has not pitched. Yeah, wasn't it? It was glute tightness or something like that. Yeah.
So maybe there, but this is the 5-and-fly time of the year where you want to get a quality 5, have the lead, and then go bully, 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 bully. And I mean, I'm sure we could look it up, and it probably would take 10 minutes to figure it out. I haven't done it. But bullpens are going to be so important this time of the year into the final month of the season.
To the NFL, the Raiders and Houston Texans played a preseason game last night, and those wondering, hey, how does Fernando Mendoza look? Well, he struggled. He went 8 of 15. Kid struggle. He threw a pick 6. Didn't like that. But the article I was reading here via ESPN is that Clint Kubiak is not ready to name a starting quarterback for the regular season. Quote, "We got another week. I don't want anyone to be comfortable in their job. It should always be that way for all positions. So let's keep going." Now, Cousins, the familiarity he has in the Kubiak offense, that's why Charge has Ashton Genty as like his top 5 running back.
Well, Cousins didn't play last night either. I think that's telling.
I think that tells you a lot, as a matter of fact. So Mendoza working along. Nothing from last night means that he can evolve into a terrific NFL QB. But to that end, for now, the head coach is, hey, nobody's comfortable this time of year. Everyone works for spots.
Yep. I saw the press conference when I got home from Canterbury. I listened to Vandermeer and our guy John Harris call part of the fourth quarter on my drive home. They were up like 22-10. I mean, those guys were just telling stories and having the greatest time in the world. And then I settle in and get all the clipping penalties handled at home, settle down, and I'm like, what? Who storms back from 12 down in the fourth quarter in the preseason?
Aiden O'Connell doesn't he?
Right.
But so to the preseason end of things, the working for spots, nobody is comfortable, but Vita Vea was pretty comfortable, PA. He was pretty comfortable just chilling. And then he got that $30 million extension. So they locked him in. So Vita Vea is healthy and happy, and it's all part of the business, he said. Happy to get back. I don't know if you've been paying attention out to the Bay Area, though, PA. Similar but different is, I think, Christian McCaffrey's in the last year of his deal, and they've been kind of playing this soreness. And I can't say that it's exactly the same, but remember when people were joking around like, okay, TJ Hawkinson does not have freaking vertigo here. And then suddenly he gets his contract extension and, hey, well, I got my balance back, ready to play. I think it's either no guaranteed money or very little guaranteed with Christian McCaffrey's final year of his deal. Holding in, that lends to that distraction factor trend out there that I was talking about, PA. Christian McCaffrey, kind of on the shelf right now. I just wonder how the Niners are handling that along the way as well.
All right, now, seam heads, grace, please, because I know earned run average is not like the biggest metric or stat or whatever anymore, but hey, it's managed to stand the test of time for 100 years. So why? I mean, it's got to be kind of important. In the American League, the worst bullpen earned run averages over the course of the year. Okay. So we're thinking Twins and wild card, Twins winning division. The Athletics 5.75 in the American League, the worst, not even close. Then it's KC. We have the third worst bullpen earned run average at 4.71. Texas and Houston are in a grinder to win the division. Texas 4.5. Then you get to Baltimore 4.13, Detroit 3.78, White Sox 3.76. Damn, man, who's in Boston's bullpen? 2.95. Damn. Let's see let's check the old home runometer. Which American League bullpens give up the most home runs? Athletics have given up 78, Kansas City 74. We've given up 48, which is not top 6.
No.
Tampa Bay 79. Baltimore 51. That's not bad. Detroit 59. White Sox 64. All right. So
I'm just curious.
I really gained nothing out of looking at this.
No, the Twins bullpen has struggled mightily over the course of 2026 to kind of offering, okay, wild card team, what are we battling down the stretch? What's going to matter to make sure they solidify a spot? I got to dig deeper. Pro Baseball Reference or Baseball Reference must be the spot next, and I'm going to have to get a StatHead subscription.
Wow. Good luck with that.
I'm going to get locked into another like $16 a month subscription fee that my wife 2 years from now yells at me about.
Yeah, but you got the city handling the water.
But I got the city handling the water. Cool pictures from my abode, by the way. Anyway, What's the sample size more recently since the additions at the deadline? Is it trending in a more positive direction?
This is season long. A good point.
So, just the bull. I feel like it's been stabilized over even really in maybe a couple weeks leading up to, although things kind of got wonky there just before deadline week. But that's something to look at, absolutely. And while we're looking at it, we're going to pause because that's News to Nord. It's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. My favorite spot in Shakopee, and you'll love it too.
Here's the deal. Talkbacks for the next couple of segments. I'm just going to lay it out like this. If you went to the joints, what did you see? What did you like? What did you loathe? State of the skull checks are required after 2 days of joints versus the rough and tumble and behemoth Ravens, boasting a quarterback and running back with some HOF chances. Did any long shot or outsider for the Vikings open your eyes in a way you just have to have them on the active 53? Puncher's chance talkbacks with somebody, I don't know, like the guy we talked about, safety Jacob Thomas, who had a pick at the Giants. Do you have a favorite punter and why? Does Damon Claiborne excite you? Anything else? We're going to run these talkbacks. Because, A, we had it planned in the first place, but B, the program director amplified said talkbacks. We have 5 pair of Vikings-Ravens tickets to be given away. So we got 5 duos, right?
We got 5 pairs of tickets for tomorrow. Yes, indeed.
We got 5 duos, and we'll give those away during the Owl Roofing postgame. So hit the talkback machine. State of the skull checks required after 2 days of joints. If you went, what did you see? What did you like? What did you loathe? And we'll start doing all that around the corner at FM 100.3 KFAN.
This is 9 to noon, live on iHeartRadio and KFAN, The Fan.
From the